that are not really in alignment with what you prefer. Because many of us have probably experienced that, where you just keep choosing the same thing over and over again, even though you say you want to choose something else. So hopefully he'll have some nice information about that to help us with that. And tomorrow's session is entitled The Big Picture. And this is all about things from the Oversoul perspective. And the idea that you have many, many aspects to your Oversoul, all of which are probably available to connect with in the now as a type of past life, right? Bashar is going to be explaining to us more about the different aspects of the Oversoul, how the Oversoul relates to these different aspects, and how to integrate this into your life and really allow yourself to expand and move beyond the status quo and really, realize your potential as a human being this lifetime. So I think it'll be a very exciting weekend, and we're going to get started in just a second. We have a couple of videos that we're going to show you. And the first one is all about the contact crystal. And are all of you familiar with the idea of the contact crystal or what that is? A lot of you are. Okay, well, for those of you who aren't, it's a type of crystal that is on Bashar's planet that Kirby Seed was able to find a source for us to replicate that crystal. And so I'll just let the video explain to you how that all works, okay? And see if it's something that's exciting to you.
I just picked up one of your interesting little seed crystals for contact.
Yes.
I was curious if you could talk about that for a few moments.
Again, the idea is that as a child on my world, I was shown the idea of a central hexagonal crystal that existed within a giant, large artistic exhibit created by another contact specialist. The central crystal in that particular work is about, in terms of your size, about 3 feet across. The idea is that it is about the same color green, and around it are other crystals, each crystal added to the central crystal, which represents the first contact of our civilization with another, represents all the other contacts of all the other civilizations we have come into contact with, and constantly grows as more and more civilizations join the interstellar alliance, as you call it. But the idea is that that central crystal is the seed crystal that carries the vibration of contact itself and is representative of my family lineage, along with other family lineages that are also steeped into the idea of being contact specialists. So not only does the idea specifically of that crystal carry the vibration, generally speaking, that is conducive to contact with other civilizations, that particular vibration is also very specifically connected to our world and my family.
Very nice.
So, that is our way of welcoming you all to the family. As far as permission slips go, obviously, as was explained, this is specifically tapping into the idea, the archetypal collective consciousness idea that there is a particular frequency or vibration that represents the blending or connection between your civilization and other civilizations. That is one of the frequencies that is put into the charge, in a sense, that is represented by that particular idea, object, permission slip. Now, it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to always use that idea, that object, because again, permission slips are what works for you. At the same time, and in conjunction with what we were saying earlier in this transmission as to how there is really no separation between intention and action, between the physicalization, the physical act being that demonstrates and in a sense actually creates simultaneously the intention. The physical act of having a symbol of that nature, a permission slip of that nature, is similar to the idea of physically casting your vote for contact. So the more votes are cast in whatever way that occurs, in whatever form the permission slip feels right for you, the more we can tally those votes, because not just of the intention of wanting contact, but the actual physical act of physicalizing it in some sort of physical way, a physical symbol that is representative of a physical action you have taken that is actually the casting of a vote. And that vote resonates very strongly in your collective consciousness to us. So it really truly changes the vibration of your collective reality. So that is what we wish to add about that idea.
So we do have some contact crystals tonight if you're interested in that and if that's exciting to you. And they're up here on the crystal table. The next video is all about the Dolphin workshops. And a couple of years ago, Bashar created a series of guided meditations that are designed to take you on a very special transformative journey. And that journey occurs in Hawaii. The next one is in October. And it's all about swimming with the wild dolphins in Kona, Hawaii, and doing these guided meditations and getting into sort of a reality bubble that's like an Essassani reality bubble. Because everybody that's attending is interested in Bashar and the information and really excited to create that kind of third reality together with the dolphins. So we're going to show you a little bit of what a dolphin workshop cetacean transformation is like.
Effortlessly and joyfully slipping through the sea. Streamlined like a dolphin, streamlined like a whale. Weaving, diving, bobbing, smoothly gliding, effortlessly through life, slipping through the sea.
I wanna glide through the open sea, side by side with you next to me. Oh, and the timing's right, you'll glide right back to me. really get any better. I wish I could have stayed with you for the rest of my day.
In unity, in harmony, in joy and in love, you drift into the depths of the deep blue sea.
Oh, when the timing's right, you'll slide right back to me. As we're slipping through the sea.
So it truly is a wonderful experience, and if you feel the call to come and become a mermaid or a merman and integrate your consciousness with the dolphins, which is actually a type of precursor and preparation for ET contact. So we invite you to join us if this is exciting to you. Okay. So again, thank you all so much for coming, and it's now my great pleasure to introduce to you the very talented and brilliant Darryl Anka, channel for Bashar. So is there anything you'd like to say before you go into the altered state of consciousness?
Goodbye. What else do I need to say?
Say something about the documentary.
Well, we're doing a Bashar documentary, as many of you know. We're getting close to the end. It'll probably be finished by the end of August. At that point, we'll be putting it into film festivals, so we're not exactly sure when it will be available to the public, but it is almost done, and we think it's something that you'll enjoy. There's a lot of stuff in it, and so it'll be very interesting for people to, for the first time, through the use of, you know, computer-generated effects, to actually see what Bashar looks like, what his world looks like, his spaceships, and so forth. So there's some of that in there, as well as a lot of his principles and the story of how this all happened for me. So we hope you will find it interesting, but it's almost there. Been a 2-year process. Yes. So, ready?
I'm ready. So just would like to thank both you and Bashar for knowing who you are and not having mistaken identity and sharing this wonderful wisdom with us. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everyone, have fun. See you later. Oh, let us say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right. All right. We thank you for the co-creation of the interaction once again. And we would like to begin this transmission by letting you know that there is no mistake that you're here tonight to talk about mistaken identity. So make no mistake, your mistakes are not really mistakes. We understand what you may mean and the experience that you are referring to when you say, all right, I made a mistake, I made an error, something happened that wasn't exactly the way I expected it to be. And of course, we always say when that happens, congratulations. For you have taken an unexpected turn in a direction that can actually be of great benefit to you. But more specifically, the idea here is to redefine the concept, because we also know that many of you, when you experience what you call a mistake, get very down on yourselves, start to worry that you're doing something wrong, heap judgment negatively upon yourself, think less of yourself, think that you should be doing something differently, think that you should be operating in a better way. And while, of course, again, we understand that there can always be improvement, there can always be change, there can always be refinement, there can always be more and more manifestation of what you prefer. Nevertheless, since sometimes it works best for some people on your planet to experience the darkness, which allows them to see the light more easily, the concept of experiencing a mistake can also be used that way. And we would strongly encourage you to do so that you can always reap a benefit from an unexpected outcome, even if that unexpected outcome is something that appears to be something you don't prefer. What we would like to suggest, what we would like to encourage you to do whenever you have the experience that you call a mistake is not to rush past it, not to simply ignore it, not turn away from it, but to examine it more closely, to open your curiosity as to why something happened the way that it did. By opening up in curiosity and exploring the concept of what you previously termed to be a mistake, you may gain great insight into yourself, into your definitions and beliefs, into your processes. You may shed a light, you may illuminate more of how your personality is structured, and this can give you great advantage, great perspective on how to redefine yourself. Of course, also, as many of you know, the concept of a mistake can also in a positive way be used simply as a refinement process. You know that many great inventors on your planet found that they did not invent the thing they were attempting to invent hundreds, thousands of times before they finally invented it. Those that allowed themselves to remain in the state of being that is exemplified by curiosity and fascination and imagination understood that the benefit of finding ways in which the invention did not work was also a positive thing, because it brought them one step closer to understanding by examining their mistakes. You all know and have heard the phrase, learning from your mistakes. And in that sense, you know it can be a positive endeavor, a positive process. But the idea also is to not just think that it's only for you. Because as you, like any explorer, walk a path that may never have been walked before and find things that may not necessarily be to your preference, nevertheless, by examining them, by opening your curiosity to them and exploring them, you're not only refining the process for yourself, you are refining the process for others as well. Every time you go down a path where something doesn't work in the way that you expected it to, you are charting a course for others so that they don't necessarily have to walk that path as well. The idea of finding out that something doesn't work the way you thought it would saves other people a lot of time, because now they know it won't necessarily work that way for them as well. And so you are being of benefit to the larger community, to the mass consensus, in being willing to explore things that may not necessarily be the most efficient path for someone else to take. And so you have acted as a pioneer. You have explored uncharted territories. You have gone into what you call terra incognita. Be careful, there be dragons here. And so you have cleared the path, shown the way, and allowed yourself, by attempting to go down different paths and different branches that ended in what you might refer to as a dead end, have shown the path that does lead to more understanding, to more experience, to more awareness. You have refined and made more efficient the journey and the process of others in discovering these things you call mistakes. There is no reason to heap negative judgment upon yourselves whatsoever in the experience of this. And if you are willing to pause when something happens that you call a mistake and stay with it, play with it, again, open your curiosity to it and say, why do I suppose this happened this way? What is here that could be revealed to me that I might otherwise not have discovered about myself, about my process, about my thoughts, my behaviors, my feelings, my beliefs? Let me sit with this. Let me ponder. For this is also just as exciting as the thing I thought I was exploring. For this is unexpected. And this opens up a new door, a new realm I didn't know existed. Let me walk through it. Let me stay. for a while. Let me see what I can extract and glean from this experience. You may be very surprised to find that it actually will reveal to you things that will benefit you later down the road that you may have thought, well, this doesn't belong. I don't know why I found this. I don't know why this happened. This doesn't seem to have anything at all to do with what I chose to do. But you may find later that what seemed at first to be a mistaken experience will actually give you something you needed farther down the road than you can see from where you are right now. Because you can hearken back and go, ah, yes, that thing I learned by going down that path that led to a mistake now comes into play in a different way, from a different level, on a different perspective, from a broader point of view, and now I can see why that wasn't a mistake at all, but something I didn't know I needed to pick up along the way. Something I needed to know about myself that now allows me, now that I have arrived where I thought I might wind up, it allows me more appreciation and more ability to experience what it is I am experiencing now. And therefore I see the whole pattern, the whole idea from a holistic point of view. And I don't have to assume that what I experienced before as a mistake was an interruption, was an obstacle, was anything that had nothing at all to do with my path, but was really part of the learning process, the process of learning more and more about who and what I am, which is the whole point. For as we have said, the process is the point. The journey is the destination. And in that way, there are no mistakes. Everything that happens, even what might seem at the moment to be a mistake, is part of that journey and is valid for what it is, and teaches you something if you're willing just to sit with it for a while, just to be curious about what it is and what it has to tell you, what it has to reflect to you. Now, in another interpretation of the idea of mistaken identity, most of you think you know who you are. You don't. Not really. This is what you're discovering on this path, in this process, on this journey. You are discovering who you are, but you don't really fully know who you are yet. And as you move forward and absorb every single reflection, every single lesson, every single experience, you add to the knowledge, you add to the understanding, you add to the vision of who it is you actually are. Because by having fragmented yourself, so to speak, you are taking this journey to gather yourself back together. You are walking down a path with this basket on your arm, and here and there you pick up the pieces of yourself and put them in the basket, and by the end of the journey you have all the pieces you need to reassemble yourself and understand who it is that truly began this journey, but began it from a position of forgetting who you are. And now you have recollected yourself along the way, remembered yourself along the way to know who you really are. Please recall that while you may from time to time define the idea of channeling as something that you do only in moments, when you are operating at your peak, when you're in alignment with the thing you love to do, when you're operating on that frequency in alignment with your true self, and while that is nonetheless true, I let you in on a little secret now.